Hi, Yash. He's going
Uh,
to be talking about emerging cyber threats in the COVID-19 pandemic, which is right now a situation all of us are in, and we need to know what we have to be aware of. So, a little bit about Yash. Yash is an active member of CyberNGO and is an experienced Infosec professional with demonstrated skill sets of working in web application security testing, VAPT, mobile security testing, source code review, API testing, etc. He has led and managed the IT security projects in the banking and manufacturing sectors with management and leadership skills. He has also participated in various debates on live news channels related to cybersecurity and advised people on various cyber frauds related incidents. He has also conducted seminars to corporate clients in cybersecurity awareness. So, thank you, Yash. We are very happy to have you here. And over to you. The stage is yours.
Hello, everyone. As Mr. Muhiddin has already given my introduction, my name is Yashpalsinh Sisodiya, and today's topic will be on the very current topic that we are all facing is emerging cyber threats during COVID-19 pandemic. We will take this topic in few points. I'll give you a short introduction. I don't think that would take more time. We will talk about COVID-19's impact on the virtual world, what has happened to the world, what the way we used to live in before this pandemic and the way we live right now. Then we will also talk about what sort of leverage the cyber criminals have got over this COVID-19 pandemic. We will also little bit discuss about the cyber attacks, and we will also discuss about the live hacks that have been conducted by cyber attackers in this COVID-19 pandemic. We will also see some of the statistics on the COVID-19 pandemic, that how it is varying and how it has increased at an exponential growth from where we talk about that it was before the lockdown and now in this COVID-19 pandemic. At last, we will talk about some of the recommendations and preventions. And then, yeah, we will have some question and answers, and you will have my short little thank you note. So let us start with this. As Mr. Muhiddin said, my name is Yashpalsinh Sisodiya. I have been working into cybersecurity from last 5 years. I have been actively taking part in cyber debates over live news channels. I have trained cybersecurity folks into banking and manufacturing sectors. I am working in a CyberNGO, which is a non-profit cyber safety initiative which aims to help and mentor the cybercrime victims to get cyber justice. We assist them in understanding their crimes they have been affected with, and then help them with the assistance of law enforcement agencies. And we also believe in spreading cybersecurity awareness in the society on these recent cyber attacks, and we also explain them about the ways how they can safeguard themselves from this. So let us talk about the first thing that comes into our mind when we talk about this COVID-19. So like right now in this physical world where we are living, the COVID-19, the coronavirus, we say, has made a great impact, or we say made a very bad impact on this world. When we see millions of people have been infected with this virus, many have been dead. But that is the part of the physical world that we live in. What about our virtual world? So what impacts it has caused on our virtual world? So first enough, there is like economic slowdown in all the sectors. Even if we talk about like information technology, even if we talk about automation, even if we talk about automobiles, each and every sector is facing this economic slowdown. Right now, to sustain, to survive in this COVID-19 pandemic, organizations are adapting the new culture of working remotely. We are adapting to something we call as the new normal. People around the world, like they are finding, like right now we are into this lockdown, we are staying home to maintain the social distancing manners, and that's why we are living home. So what people are doing, people right now are finding ways to connect socially with their loved ones through internet, online, or via some apps. Employees, they have started working from home, because they cannot go to office. So right now organizations are giving this leverage to employees from working from home so that they can continue their work life. Right now, more and more utilities are coming into digital market. We see when organizations are working, allowing their employees to work from home, to connect. You see, like there have been increase in these software applications of communication. We say Zoom or we say WebEx. They have been used very frequently. Right now, if you talk about this COVID-19 infection, the most interesting thing is, like, because of this disease, it's a medical issue, it's a physical issue, but then also people are relying on an IT software to avoid infection. People are relying on contact tracing apps to understand and to stay away from some sort of such infections. So now, when we talk about all of this, let's talk about what sort of leverage of this COVID-19 has been like cyber criminals are taking off. You see, cyber criminals are taking advantage of this COVID-19 pandemic. They are all set, or they have already released the chaos on our virtual world. The analysis shows that there has been an increase of 70% since February 2020 into the cyber attacks. We are in a great terror of this cyber threat. We are right now, the entire world is focusing on fighting this disease. And this is the leverage when we are not focusing on our security mechanisms. We are not focusing about the concerns of our data privacy. That's where the cyber attackers take their leverage. And what they are doing, they are attacking the computer networks systems to compromise victims. And now they are attacking even the global organizations. What sort of leverage they are taking? Previously, there used to happen cyber attack, but this COVID-19 is so big that cyber attackers have started developing their attacks in the context of this current pandemic. They have started campaigns, cyber espionage, as we say, in the name of COVID-19. Because right now, each and every human mind on this planet is more concerned about this disease. And this is known to us as well as it is known to the cyber attackers. We are very much scared, or we are very much concerned about it, but this gives them the upper hand to manipulate the human mind, to manipulate the scared human mind and release their attacks. If we talk about the cyber attacks that cyber criminals are using on this COVID-19 pandemic on an individual or an organizations, there have been mainly this sort of attacks. There have been phishing campaigns which are released on a very large number by cyber attackers. Malware, data harvesting through malwares, ransomware attacks that cyber attackers are carrying out on an organizations. We talk about online payment cyber fraud. So this has came up to a very much of high par. Online payment frauds have been increased into cybersecurity, into these cyber attacks, and they have taken a different place in this COVID-19 pandemic. The last and the most crucial thing that cyber attackers are taking out is cyberbullying and cyber blackmailing, which is of utmost concern and utmost importance when we are living in this COVID-19 pandemic. We will discuss all of these once again, like one by one, and I will also discuss some of the live phishing campaigns, some of the live attacks that cyber attackers have carried out in this COVID-19 pandemic. Let us go with the first one, cyber attacks and the phishing campaigns. You see, COVID-19 has created a concern in the minds of humans when it comes to healthcare sectors, when it comes to each and every sectors. Like COVID-19 themes, spear phishing campaigns are carried out by attackers to steal the information, to compromise credentials, or moreover, through phishing campaigns, cyber attackers are infecting the victim system with malwares. Healthcare sectors right now, they are working for the humanity. They are working for the betterment of the society from this COVID-19 pandemic. They are targeted the most via phishing attack. Phishing attacks increasing repeatedly. They have been increased up to 85% into COVID-19 pandemic. And the world authorities have already warned about a large-scale phishing attacks coming to the nations like India, which will be targeting their victims using COVID-19 as a bait. Let us talk about the first COVID-19 attack, COVID-19 phishing attack that was carried out. So German Coronavirus Task Force, it's a multinational company in Germany, which was themed with a task force and which were equipped of creating the protecting gears for coronavirus. they were attacked by a phishing campaign launched by cyber attackers. This phishing campaigns, because of these phishing campaigns, the entire organization was attacked, and more than 100 high-level executives were a victim of these phishing campaigns. This phishing campaigns was launched in order to steal the sensitive information, to steal the credentials of the users in order to gain information about their existing work and to use it. And to what the cyber attackers would do, they would use this on a dark web, or they would give it to their competitors to gain their own profit. This was one of the biggest attack in this COVID-19 pandemic, which was carried out via phishing by cyber attackers. We go to the next topic, that is cyber attacks using malware. So data harvesting, we are all familiar about Trojan horse. We all know the story of Troy and how Trojan horse came into existence. So what is a malware? What is a Trojan horse? It's a piece of a code which when sent to a victim systems, compromises the victim systems and gives access to the attacker of the victim's machine. The attacker can steal the information of the victim, and then in turn, it can steal the information. It can have the entire control of the victim machine. Right now, in the name of this COVID-19 pandemic, the attackers are sending malwares to the victims, to the organizations, in order to infect them with malwares and to steal their information, or moreover, to destroy their information. Right now, cyber attackers, you see, like when we used to work at our office, to work at our work location, we were working under the company's infrastructure. Now, when we are working under company's infrastructure, there are many security mechanisms. There are firewalls, there are other security mechanisms which helps you to stay safe from all such malwares. But right now, when you're working from home, your home network is not as secure as your current as your works infrastructure. So right now, cyber attackers are taking leverage and are targeting the remote working employees. You see the minimal security defenses, as I said, of global organizations. Right now, the organizations are not even able to help their employees to maintain the level of security that is needed. And this is the upper hand which gives the cyber attackers a leverage to attack them with malwares. Right now, if we consider a home network, many of the employees might even not have an antivirus into their system. Many of the employees might not have even a secure connections. This is the leverage that these cyber attackers are taking to infect the victim's machine, to infect the organization via malwares. Let us talk about another malware attack that was carried out at United States. So this is the TrickBot malware. TrickBot malware is a Trojan horse which was aimed to infect the United States of America in the name of United States Department of Labor. This is the phishing mail which was sent to the victims with an attachment of a DocuSign, of a legal agreement of a digital signature that requires a digital signature. It was sent to the victim in the name of COVID-19 pandemic, and they were impersonating as coming from US Department of Labor, and they were telling the victims that there have been some changes, and because of that, you will have to change. You will have to sign this document. This document was embedded with TrickBot malware, and once infected with these, cyber attackers were able to steal the information of the victim's machine and all their important data. This kind of attack was carried out on individuals and organizations also, and thousands of them got infected because of this. If we talk about malware, there is one well-known malware known as ransomware. You see, even before the COVID-19 pandemic, just this malware, ransomware, was just responsible for a loss of $11.5 billion since 2019, and it was estimated that since 2000, till 2020-21, the estimated loss because of this ransomware malware will be about $21.5 billion. Right now, the healthcare centers, or the healthcare providers, or the hospital agencies, they are being targeted by cyber criminals, because right now they are the most busy people, and working under these conditions, they are more focusing on serving the people rather than maintaining their own concerns or maintaining their own security. And this is known to cyber criminals as well. So And when we talk about healthcare providers, many of the hospitals, many of the medical scientists are trying to prepare vaccines. They are trying to prepare medicines for this COVID-19 pandemic. But this is known to cyber criminals as well. And that data is of very much of utmost importance. So cyber criminals are targeting these organizations. And what a ransomware does, what it will do, it will encrypt the victim's machine. All of the data will be encrypted. And once encrypted, the victim will have to pay a ransom in order to decrypt the data. So just think about it. This information, the information of medicine, the information of protecting cares of COVID-19 pandemic, what if it gets encrypted? Will, like, many of them will be concerned about it, and many of them will pay the ransom to get their data back. So cyber criminals are using this sort of techniques and this sort of targets to gain their own profit. The ransomware can, like, how they are being affected by ransomwares, they are being affected by spam emails, they are being affected by links, attachments, or let's say if in an organization one of the employees' credentials are compromised, so cyber attackers are using those email accounts to send the ransomware malware. So what if someone is getting those emails? He will think that the mail has been come from the companies itself, and if someone is opening that email, the ransomware is supposed to infect the entire organizations. Or moreover, like, there are many vulnerabilities into your system. If you have not updated your system, if it is outdated, then using those vulnerabilities, cyber attackers are attacking via ransomware. Let us talk about one of the biggest ransomware attack that was carried out by the cyber attackers on one of the largest one of the largest healthcare provider. Fresenius was attacked by a ransomware called Snake ransomware. This organization, the entire organization was attacked via this ransomware attack. You see, Fresenius is the healthcare organization which is holding 40% of United States share market. So cyber attackers know this sort of values. They do research and they then attack via ransomware. So they understand right now in this COVID-19 pandemic, or even if we talk about the normal situation, data holds more value than any money in the world. You just collate all the money in this world, and you just collate all the data in this world. Data will surely hold more importance. So that's how so thinking of these cyber attackers attacked in this COVID-19 pandemic on this big medical care Fresenius to gain the upper hand and to manipulate the victim to pay the ransom. This was one of the biggest attacks that was carried out in this COVID-19 pandemic via Snake ransomware. Now we talk about the cyber attacks and online frauds. Right now, when we see ourselves as working from home, we see ourselves stuck at home, we are asked to maintain the social distancing norms. We are moreover adapting ourselves using the online methods. Right now, we are trying to connect to people via internet, via socially, via any social media. Right now, instead of meeting people, instead of trading, we are using online methods, online payment schemes to trade. This is known to cyber attackers as well. So even if we just talk about the Indian market, like 31% of Indian consumers have been recent victims of card and digital payment frauds. How these are being carried out, like, these attacks are being carried out by cyber criminals. Just take an example, a cyber attacker gives you a phishing call, or you get an email stating to, let's say, there is one city, and in that city there is, when you pay your bills, so that those bills are monthly, and cyber attackers knows those bills are monthly. And now, as in, when you are paying everything online, you don't have to go to the office or the government office to pay your bill. You just have to pay it here. So what the cyber attackers are doing at the time of the monthly bill payments, they are sending phishing campaigns of online with an online malicious payment link. If you are getting a link like this, and if you pay, considering that this is going to pay your billing to the government office, they are stealing your money via this. There are other methods which are used by cyber attackers, like UPI is the payment system. And there are wallets. When we talk about wallets, it includes everything, payments, Paytm wallets. We talk about Amazon wallets, anything. and they are talking into USSD, as well as they are trading into Bitcoins as well. You see why all of these methods are used, because when we talk about UPIs, when we talk about wallets, the banks don't take responsibilities of the frauds that were done on these UPIs and the wallets, because to make a fraud, you have to the victim have to give his consent, the victim have to give his let's say an OTP or PIN to the cyber attacker in order to send the money. So this is the most common thing. This is the most frequent and rapid thing that cyber attackers are using to attack and compromise the victim's money. Like if the victim has given his her consent to transfer the money, the bank is not going to take the dispute, or bank is not going to help them in order to get their money back. So right now, using this, so the attackers will stay safe out of it. So this is the one of the most important, and I would not say important, but one of the most destruction attack that cyber attackers are using to gain their own profit. Fake apps and websites to compromise password credential information. Right now, when we talk about COVID-19 pandemic, or when we talk about this situation, there have been many mobile application apps or many websites which will tell you to come and check here if your area comes into green zone, red zone, or orange zone, or they will tell you that please download this app to see if you are affected by COVID-19 or not. So as we are a little technical person, so we might not take an interest in it. But what about common people? What about people who are like highly treated, but they are not into IT technology, they are not aware of the information technology, they are not aware about all this cyber attacks that are going on right now. So a normal person like them is likely to download some sort of app like this, and when he downloads an app like this, he will understand, like, okay, I will have to just check on these points, and then I will have to pay $35 in order to know that I am affected by COVID-19 pandemic or not. Right now, even governments of the world have not even released some sort of apps, but due to lack of awareness, due to lack of any information about the cybersecurity attacks that are going on, many have been scammed of this sort of online payment frauds. If we talk about the recent payment frauds, so in India, there are two organizations, OLX and Quickr. These organizations are highly reputed, and they have their e-commerce platform where you can sell and purchase the good old furniture, and where you can apply for jobs. Right now, in the month of March, the few gangsters or few cyber criminals were arrested. What they were doing, they were impersonating as a buyer on the OLX and Quickr platforms. They were targeting the victims. What they used to do, they used to contact them. They used to show interest to them on buying their stuff. And once the deal was done, what they used to do, they used to send them a wallet link. They used to send them a UPI link, which was of receiving money instead of sending money. So a normal person, I always see when a human mind is curious, scared, or happy, it doesn't think a lot. It tries to act on it. So let's say if the victim was selling something for more than 20K, then the attacker would have sent him a link of receiving money, but there was this happiness in his mind of receiving 20K money. It didn't saw the very small fonts of saying receiving or the sending money. It clicked on it, and the money was transferred to the attackers. Right now, this kind of frauds have increased in India and overworld at a very high power. And as I said, UPI transactions, or when we talk about wallet transfers, banks and the organizations don't take their responsibilities, because those are the consent given by the victim, as a victim himself or herself. That's why they don't take of it, and then the attackers take profit of it, and then they get away with it, because no one can harm anything, no one can harm them. Now this brings us to the last cyber attack that we have been talking about, is cyberbullying or blackmailing. Before this, I would like to bring up a view of mine, or a vision of mine, when we talk about information. I'm like, from the start of my session, I'm imposing the information or the data as a very important thing. You see, data and information have been of utmost importance from the times of kings and pharaohs, and from the times of politics to defenses, and from the times of law to the literacy. Data has always been of utmost importance. So when we talk about technology, and when the technology started, we were more concerned about a thief who would who would hop in inside our house and who would steal our physical computer. And we were never concerned at that time that someone was already sitting on the hard drive of our computer, and he or she was stealing our data. The cyber attacker was stealing our data. But right now, it has become a very opposite of that. Right now, we are much more concerned about our data rather than our physical stuff. So why I talked about this, and I would like to relate this to cyberbullying. Right now, when we see under this lockdown, 1.5 billion teenagers, it has been estimated by United States that they are out of schools. Now, these teenagers, they are growing mind, they are furious minds, they are curious, and right now they are much more about, like, they think much more about exploring. So these teenagers, and many people, not just teenagers, but people like us, people like working employees, they are they are finding ways to connect socially with other people. Right now, if you see, there have been many apps developed by legit developers, and as well as there were many fake or malicious web applications developed by cyber attackers, which allows you to connect socially with your loved ones, with your friends, with your family. And using this, the attackers are trying to impersonate as friends. Like, teenagers, they are always looking about exploring good things, but they are not understanding the cons of exploring the things on internet, the wrongdoings of internet. Cyber attackers are taking leverage of this. Whenever, like, we feel as people feeling as lonely, they try to connect socially. Attackers impersonate as friends. They try to gather information from victims first, and then they show their true colors. They try to post rumors, they try to post threats, sexual remarks, and victims' personal information. Right now, this sort of thing is not just to receive money or not just to gain money, but just to take revenge as well. You see, there have been high number of suicide committed because of cyberbullying, because those teenagers, they have not been mentored, or they try to isolate themselves because of something like this, and that result to suicides, or that result to a long-term depression into the teenagers, and that results to the deceiving of the society. Right now, this requires utmost importance for any of us, be it our children's, be it ourselves, or be it our friends. We should always look after each and everyone to avoid anyone of our loved ones or from our society to be safe from cyberbullying. So that's why we should say no to all of these rumors, gossipings, insults. The attackers plan on their victim in such a way that if we are an intermediate zombie for the attacker, we might not even know that we are working for the attacker. Let's say there is one social media post which has been shared by one page on Instagram, which has been governed by a cyber attacker. We liked it, we shared it, but we don't know that social media post, what sort of impact is going to give it to that victim. And in that way, we also become a part of that cyberbullying or the cyber harassment. So we should always think about what we see on social media, what pages we subscribe, what information we share on social media, to stay ourselves away and to help others to not to be a part of such notorious activities. So these were the attacks that I talk about: the phishing campaigns, the malware attacks, the ransomware, as well as the online payment frauds and cyberbullying. We have talked all about this. Now let us talk about some of the statistics. So this is a graph that shows how sort of COVID-19 domains that were created in this COVID-19 pandemic. If you see the graph from January 2020 till April's first week, if you see the graph of March, just in the month of March, there have been malicious COVID-19 domain registrations of 96,743. If we talk about April, just the first week of April, there were 20,139 COVID-19 domains, malicious domains that were registered. And in the month of Feb, there were 10,000, and in the month of Jan, there were 3,000 around. So all of these domains that were registered by cyber attackers, all of these malicious domains are used and will be used in future to launch phishing campaigns, to infect organizations with malwares. You see the preparation of these cyber attackers on the world. And when we talk about ethical hackers, when we talk about normal people, we have very much less to safeguard ourselves from some such sort of attacks. We need to be aware because right now there are no security, there are no physical security mechanisms available, or there are no software security mechanisms available when we are working from home. So the only thing that can help us to stay safe from this is aware. So we have to be aware on this sort of attacks in order to safeguard ourselves. That is the only one weapon we hold against these cyber attackers and their notorious cyber attacks. If we talk about cyber attacks in this COVID-19 pandemic, you see phishing campaigns have increased up to 85%. There have been online payment frauds have been increased up to 65%. Other attacks that include cyberbullying, that includes banking frauds, that includes phishing frauds have been increased up to 55%. Ransomware attacks have been increased up to 40%, and the last malware attack have been increased up to 25%. I'm talking about this percentage is an add-on from the regular time. So let's say if there were 15% hike before the lockdown into phishing attack, it has added on to the 85%. So right now it's around 100% of phishing attacks that are being launched by cyber criminals. Now let us talk about. We talked about how cyber attackers are running phishing campaigns. We talked about how cyber criminals are launching their malware attacks. Let us talk about some sort of recommendations and some sort of preventions. I always suggest people, when you are working from home or when you're working in your organizations, never use your personal system for your professional work, and never use your professional system for your personal work. Because let's say if a cyber attacker is trying to harm you personally, he will also get a leverage of attacking you on your professional platform. And in the same way, vice versa, if someone is trying to harm you professionally, the attacker will get a leverage of attacking you personally also. So never do that. Then back up all your important files and store them independently from your system. This is for the ransomware attack. Let's say if you have very critical, important data of your business, of your work, or even of your personal concern, always store it away from your system. You can store it into your external hard drives and keep it safe if it's of utmost importance. Because let's say even after taking so many precautions, if you have been a victim of ransomware attack, you will be safeguarded from that. Always verify you are on a legitimate website before entering your login details or sensitive information. So here we are talking about the phishing campaigns. So we need to understand whenever we are receiving a link, whenever we are whenever we saw some offers on our work mails, and whenever we see some e-commerce advertisement, please verify the legitimacy of a website before entering your details and sensitive information. Please do keep your antivirus software installed and updated on your computer and mobile device. This will help you right now in this COVID-19 situation a lot from these malware attacks. Strengthen your home network. Now, how you are supposed to strengthen your home network? The first thing, please run security patch updates on your home routers. Second thing, your company, many of the organizations have given the facility of VPN, the virtual private network, to connect to their company's infrastructure network. So whenever you're working, please do use the VPN on working. Talk to your family, including children, about how to stay safe online. This is of an utmost concern when we talk about cyberbullying and cyber harassment. Please talk to your family, please talk to your children about how staying safe online, what sort of pages they should subscribe to, what sort of information they are looking at. We need to keep a track of it just in order to save them. And if at a time, if you believe you are a victim of a crime, you should alert your local police, as well as on a work platform. If you think that your system has been affected, if you think something has infected your system and you cannot do anything about it, immediately contact your support team in the company. They can look into it, and for the time they can take even care of it if it has not passed out yet. These are the important 7 checkpoints that you should look after when it comes to protecting yourself in this COVID-19 pandemic. As I said, backup online and offline files regularly and securely. Strengthen your home network. As I said, please do use VPN. Use strong passwords for each and every of your social media work accounts. It is recommended that you should use your strong passwords. Keep your software updated. This software update talks about your antivirus. This software updates talks about your operating systems. This software update talks about all the softwares that you are using into your system currently, because right now attackers in this lockdown are trying to find new ways, what we call a 0 day, to infect the software bugs and then to get leverage out of it. So please do keep your security software and other softwares up to date, because companies release security updates regularly. Manage your social media profiles. As I said, we should understand what sort of information we should take care of when we are subscribing to some information, some pages, or when we are sharing some information. So please manage your social media profiles. Check privacy and security settings each and every platform, social media platform, be it your work platform. Please check your privacy settings. You should know what sort of data that you are giving to these social media platforms. You should take care of it. Avoid opening and delete suspicious email or attachments. Please, if you are receiving any suspicious email, before opening the attachments, download it. You can scan it through your antivirus and then you can open it. I would recommend using checkfish.ai for checking the phishing mails, and virustotal.com for checking if the attachment that you have received is a malicious attachment, is a malicious software or a malicious attachment or not. So this was the session for me today, and I explained about all of this, of the attacks that the leverage that cyber attackers are taking, what was the impact on this COVID-19, and what sort of recommendations right now we should use as we are working from home.
Okay, thank you, Yash, for that very insightful, I would say, session that dealt with a lot of defense methods. How do you protect yourself from phishing attacks, and gave a lot of insight. So we don't have a lot of time for questions. I did pick up one question from the audience that I'm going to ask you. Okay. What are some methods that you can employ to identify phishing emails, phishing SMSs? You gave us insights on how to check if something is a phishing email by putting it through. You mentioned a couple of tools and websites.
Checkfish.ai, yeah.
But how do you identify in the first place?
So so there are few checks when we talk about phishing emails. Let's say if you have received a suspicious email, first of all, look for the email ID that you have received. When you talk about this organization, when you talk about Microsoft, when you talk about Facebook, they are never going to send you an email via public platform. They are never going to send you an email via Gmail or via Outlook. An email that will be coming you from Microsoft.com or from Facebook.com or from Google.com, right? Now, the second thing you can check for is the let's say you can check for the grammatical mistakes in the content of this phishing emails. Cyber attackers don't just generally look for the grammatical mistakes. Moreover, they are more concerned about attacking the victim, so they make huge grammatical mistakes. Generic greetings: when the attackers carry out spear phishing email, they give generic greetings. It will be like, dear customer, hi user. So let's say if I have a Netflix subscription and Netflix knows that this is my account, so generally I'm going to get an email which will say hi Yashpal instead of saying hi user. So you should look out for generic greetings. any suspicious link, let's say you have received a link saying www.xyz.com and it is coming from Microsoft.com. So you should understand that this xyz.com is not a domain of Microsoft. So these are all the checks we should look even after even before using checkfish.ai to understand if a mail is a legit mail or not.
Okay, thank you so much, Yash, for that.
Yeah, thank you.
In-depth answer to the question as well. So all of us are much better prepared right now in dealing with some of these phishing attempts that we have to face in COVID-19 and how to identify them. So thank you so much for your time and sharing your insights. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.